Welcome back to another episode of Suds in Cinema. My name's Kyle.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Josh.
This is episode number 19, and this week we're going to be reviewing the Jesus Rolls and Swallow, plus a few other things we've been watching. I definitely have a couple. Jacob has a couple. I don't know if Josh made it to watch anything else, but that's all right. We'll try to extend these conversations because it might be kind of brief. What's going on with you guys? Anything new in life?
So today I had someone pay for my coffee.
Oh,
first time
did you
I've
pay it
had
forward?
That. Of course I did.
Was there anyone behind you though?
Yeah.
Okay.
And theirs was like way more expensive than mine would have been.
You're like, dang it.
Mine was like $2.
Can you just, so how does that work? So like say you want to do that, can you just say I'm going to buy the person's coffee behind me?
So,
like is it rude to like do that?
You only buy one of their drinks? Like
Well,
I want to
mean,
buy like one of their drinks.
Like if you get
If
your coffee bought, I feel like it's not rude to say I'm going to buy the next person's coffee, not like, hey, I'm going to buy your entire family and their kids' order.
Well, no, because they would have to separate it in the.
Yeah.
They would have to separate the transaction.
Unless you have a $5 bill and you just hand them
You're
$5.
And say put it towards.
Yeah.
You're like,
Sure.
I'll get the person's behind me. Well, there's like $40. Never mind then. They got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the coffee. But,
Next time. I'll get them next time.
because there's like 13 something. Mine was like $2 because all I got was a coffee. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. So
First time you said?
Yeah, I've
I've
never
had it
had
happen one time.
never had that happen before. I was
I
like,
got-
Not yet.
So the instance, that's why I asked, because I had it and no one was behind me. So I was like,
you're like,
Can't do anything.
I can't do anything. I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I
you're like,
supposed
well,
to
it
do?
ended.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I didn't think I had cash on me, so I couldn't.
If
been like,
anything,
"Here,
that's
put-"
called lucky.
Yeah. So I got free coffee for existing.
just a free coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I guess I'll get theirs.
What do I do now?
How-
What's the protocol?
What do we
here?
do? Do I just like drive away? No, I said I don't want to be that guy, so I'll
Yeah.
get theirs.
Right.
And they said it was like I was like the fifth one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a row.
Nice.
So that was
Pretty
cool.
impressive.
I know. I was happy.
All right, you guys ready to get into it?
Yes,
We have a beer. This is Jacob's pick.
it is. I got Sierravesa or Sierravesa. Sierravesa. And it's Mexican style lager, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's the name. And it's by Sierra Nevada out of Chico, California. Apparently this one is.
Well, there's two.
Yeah, the
there are two
other one's in
locations. Well, it's Mills River.
Mills
but
River,
yeah,
North Carolina.
It's right by
Yeah.
Asheville.
Asheville,
And I've
basically.
been there. It was amazing.
Yeah, I really want to go. Number 2 beer city.
No, I'm just saying. I've been to Sierra Nevada's.
Oh, and their brewery
the
was
Mills River location.
nice.
Yeah,
I feel like,
we got
breweries-
like 30 different beers because they have so many.
dang.
Because they literally behind the bar, there's 3 holding tanks full of beer. So like they just tap it off of the keg. or
Oh,
off
really?
Of the barrel. Yeah.
Whoa.
So it's literally just this full tank of just this like off the wall beer. And you just like,
So yeah, they have a bunch of experimental then.
yeah. No,
that's cool.
there was like 3 or 4 of us and we all got like 6 different beers.
It was like Ballast Point in Chicago.
Oh yeah, they had a fuck ton of
Bunch
beers.
of beer. Yeah.
I think that already closed. I want to say it went
Probably.
out of business.
I'm glad we went. It was super nice.
It was in a horrible area though.
Remember
how
going?
weird
yeah,
it was to find
remember
it?
going to the bathroom? It was like a trek.
Oh yeah, you had to go all the way
I'm like, where's the
downstairs.
bathroom? And you like go downstairs, like go through this door, down a hallway, through into like another building, through that door, like, and then you're in like a kitchen.
I think when I went back up, there's an elevator right outside the guys' room, so I just used that
You
because
just
I'm like,
have
I
to
don't
go.
feel like walking.
I'm
2
like,
miles
where
again.
am I going? This is like leading me to. Anyway,
Yeah, I digress.
this is their description. Inspired by the classic.
Wow, third word,
Classic
you're fucking it up.
Cervezas served ice cold by the beach. We created our own take on those light and easy beers born south of the border. Sierravesa is golden and crisp, with a balanced malt flavor and a hit of floral hops that will have you calling out for another round. They even put what they used. They used lager yeast, Sterling bittering hops, Sterling finishing hops, and malts were Pilsner wheat and C60.
Caramel 60.
There you go.
Which is interesting to put in a light beer, but
Well,
it's a pretty decent toast level.
and that's all it says. So let's crack it open.
Yeesh.
Ooh.
Got a 5% ABV.
Oh, yeah.
Should mention.
Jacob.
It's, you know,
Idiot.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lighter.
One of the best things I
Lighter
like about
lager.
Sierra Nevada is they're still family owned.
Are they really?
Yep. So they're technically microbrewery still.
Well, that's like
Read
Bell's.
the top, Jacob. Family owned, operated, and argued over.
Well,
There you go.
Bell's
Right
is still family owned as well.
Yep, by Larry Bell.
By the Bells.
Not very Mexican, unless it's meant to go for a Mexican amber.
I don't know. It's kind of like a Modelo to me.
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
It
kind of
has like
flavor
an
profile.
amber, like a nutty.
Yeah, definitely has that.
Like this isn't gonna be like a Corona Pacific. It's gonna be more of
It's
like
heavier
a Victoria,
than I expected.
a Victoria or a Modelo amber or a Dos Equis amber. I think.
No, I think like
Yeah, Dos Equis.
Modelo
Feel that.
Negra or whatever it's called.
Negra.
Think like a craft Mexican light beer.
It's good. I like it.
Is one way to describe it.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know how I would. I don't think I could drink multiple.
I think.
No.
Like I feel like it's still a little too heavy for me to slam.
It
on.
is heavy for a.
For me to just
What it's
sitting
going
around
for.
a pool or a lake or something. It's not my. It wouldn't be my go-to. But sitting, drinking, watching movies, or hanging out, like this is like a bonfire beer, not like a lake beer for me.
Yeah, I can see that. Not like a beach beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I'm hot as fuck, I'm not gonna be drinking this beer.
But maybe we need lime.
I don't know.
Might
if
be good
that'll
with
help.
some lime.
Maybe.
Could freshen it up.
I think I have limes.
All right, well, let's get it checked in on Untapped. And while we're doing that, I'll pull up the info here on what are we going to start with?
Let's start with Jesus rolls.
You want to get
because-
that out of the way?
Yeah.
All
Or do
right.
you? Well,
Well, you
it's up
just
to you
watched
guys.
it.
What do you want?
Josh just watched it.
Yeah,
first.
so that's
We
the
can- I mean, yeah.
freshest, I guess.
If you call it that.
All right, so we're starting with the Jesus Rolls. This is directed by John Turturro, also stars John Turturro. Should say it's written by, characters by the Coens. So this is based off of, spin-off of The Big Lebowski, but written by John Turturro. So written and directed by him. Huge cast in this thing. Like I said, John Turturro, Bobby Cannavale, Audrey Tautou, Susan Sarandon, Pete Davidson, John Hamm, J.B. Smoove, Christopher Walken, who's in it for 30 seconds.
Not
I
even
forgot he
30
was even
seconds.
Tim
in
Blake
it.
Nelson.
Yeah.
I know. Just the cast on this thing is
A lot of
pretty insane.
the cast was like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, glorified cameos, and then there's extended bits, which
Yeah.
we'll get into kind of based on what the movie is. But plot synopsis reads, a spin-off of The Big Lebowski centered on the notable bowler Jesus Quintana.
Yeah.
Should have been.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But it is,
Yeah.
Jesus, Jesus, same thing. All right, let's take a listen to a clip.
That's him. Jack Brisson?
That's me.
Your mother sent us.
767.
Well, why didn't she come herself? She got out 2 months ago.
Yeah, well, she went abroad.
Where?
Portugal.
Where's Portugal? I mean, I haven't heard from her in 2 months. She couldn't write. What the f is she doing in Portugal?
She split with a good friend of ours, a terrific guy. Yeah. He's an engineer. Agricultural.
She said go and get Jack and take care of him, and she's very happy. She'll be back soon.
Who's this agricultural guy?
Don't worry about it. He's a good guy.
If he's so good, why isn't he here?
He's got a record.
How many busts?
1 served, 2 suspended.
Not bad. Is that your car? Plymouth Fury?
3rd generation.
Swedish police used to use that. And they never die.
What did you guys think of the Jesus Rolls?
So
Jacob wanted to dive right in.
I want to say, as someone who also has watched Loquisha, this might have been worse. Like,
I am
I
fully
would not
with
go
you.
that far.
I would go that far.
But-
Because the difference is like Loquisha was some nobody who made some terrible movie versus this is like a lot of really good actors and stuff and a semi-talented director.
Right.
And it's on that level of bad.
Well, we don't know if he's a good director or not.
Well,
But LaQuisha, there was no saving LaQuisha, right?
No.
Somewhere in this hodgepodge, terrible movie, there is some semblance of something that could be good.
I would like for you to expound on that.
I will
because
once it gets
yeah.
to me. I'm going to let
Yeah.
Jacob finish. But I'm just saying that for me, the difference between those two is like there is no saving LaQuisha at all.
Mm-hmm.
There is something deep down that could be saved in this movie. Trust me, it's deep down. We're very close. I'm not trying to go to bat for the Jesus Rolls. I'm just saying I think that's the difference in the scores. Saying that LaQuisha is worse, to me, that's where it's like, I don't think so. But
that's fair. But either way, I'll say both of those are ranked in my top worst movies I've ever seen.
right.
And
Since-
again, came in, like, at least LaQuisha, I came in knowing it would be terrible. I had no idea what this was. I was trying not to look anything. Like, I knew the reviews weren't so good for it, but that doesn't mean...
Imagine my viewing of it. I watched it with my dad.
Oh God.
No. That's what I was saying. Like, I didn't... they can get bad reviews, and I can still like it, you know?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
plenty of movies
I saw the
that-
reviews for this, and I'm like, my initial thought was people are hating on this movie because it tarnishes The Big Lebowski for
which
them
is
somehow.
yeah, which we were talking about before,
Right, like I just thought they were like, fuck this movie. It's just taking off The Big Lebowski, and like they're just trying to get success from
The name.
riding on the coattails
Yeah,
of that.
exactly.
But it's not really related to that at all.
Not
It's
even a little
bad
bit.
for a whole other reason.
yeah, it's bad because it's bad.
Yeah.
And it is bad. And I have the very open mind about movies. I'm usually on the higher end in a lot of things because I can always see where it was coming from, and I don't really. Just it felt so disjointed, and I don't know if there's even anything to spoil with this movie. There's I don't know what there is.
There's not a plot. So
Yeah, there's no
not,
plot.
You can't really spoil anything except for moments within, specific moments, I would say.
And I love, the whole, I like openness, so I can be all on board with
Like a
how they,
plotless movie.
well, not that. I mean, just like
The characters being
the
open.
characters,
Yeah.
like how they were with their sexuality
Spirited,
and
open,
stuff like
yeah.
that. I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. But the way they did that comes across horrible. It comes
Yeah.
across as someone who isn't open like that,
Trying
but
to
wants
be,
to
yeah.
be like, hey, yeah, this is how it's like, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. So instead it came off as very degrading to me, uncomfortably so. When I was watching, I'm like, how did they even get some of these actors and actresses, especially the actresses, to even agree to do these things? What is it,
Yeah.
Audrey Tautou,
Yeah.
who was in Amelie?
Amelie, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Such a revered film.
Yeah, the way they treated her in it was
Yeah, I know. Exactly
it was
what you're saying.
uncomfortable to
Yeah.
me. Yeah, it was bad. And yeah, that, I don't know. I don't get that at all. Ugh. There's
Okay,
just
so Jacob
nothing
didn't like it.
really that I could see. I didn't laugh at all.
No way.
I thought it was so unfunny. And every line was it was trying to be a punchline to a joke. Every line was haha, trying to be funny. It's we're funny, right? And I was like, no. This movie was short and
very.
it felt endless.
yeah.
It was painful to focus on. Because there was just and all the characters are so unlikable. I didn't like any of them. I disliked them, hated them as characters. There was no character I was could latch onto. Just everybody was so unlikable. Yeah. And then the whole suicide part or What was that supposed to be?
Yeah. It just weird moments like that. There's so many things that are out of place. Like, I get what they were going for. So that's where I see aspects that could be, there's something deep down that could be, make it good. But the way that it's done is just
misses the
bad.
mark on everything.
I mean, I might as well just go into my general thoughts. I didn't like it at all either. I love plotless movies. You know, I just rewatched The Beach Bum. Still love The Beach Bum. Very plotless.
Yeah, that is like a
Things
great
like that.
way to do it,
Yeah.
right?
There's ways to do it, and then there's this, which is plotless. They try to do, so like I said, the cast is so big. What me and Jacob talked about briefly online was that I feel like they were trying to bring in these big name actors and have them have like a segment, almost like an anthology film,
Right?
Oh, but in one film. So like one character would come in, they would have their moment, and then they would be gone for the rest of the movie. So Christopher Walken is in. I mean, his is very, very short.
Yeah,
he's the
his is
warden.
2 lines.
Yeah, he's gone. Susan Sarandon comes in. She does her thing. She's gone. John Hamm comes in. He does his thing. He's gone. Pete Davidson. All these people. It's supposed to feel like it's segmented into kind of like moments, and that moments within their journey. But the journey was just like, I hated everything about that. So like,
well, like I said to you when we were talking about it a little bit, like the one line when they said, "Where are we going?" And I was like, yeah, that's great. That's a great statement for this movie. Where is this going?
Yeah. So, I mean, just generally off the bat, that's my impression. I mean, technically, nothing special at all. I'm trying to think of like any how it looked. It looked very, very basic.
Yeah.
I think the acting was fine across the board, but nothing like super that stood out really. So it's in his character specifically, the character of Jesus. It works in The Big Lebowski because he's only in it for a few minutes.
Yeah, a minute.
And he's such a weird character that, I mean, everybody in that movie is kind of quirky and weird, but that's the Coen brothers. So it works in that setting. When you're forced to stare at him for an hour and a half and forced to interact with him for an hour and a half, it doesn't work at all.
No.
So that's where I'm at.
So I've never seen The Big Lebowski.
Right. But for this movie, I don't think you have even had to see The Big Lebowski. Like, because this has no connections to it.
Yeah, he was such a minor character.
Except for the bowling scene, like you might think it's a little bit out of place, but that's literally the only connection.
Yeah. So anyway, this movie was just a dumpster fire. Like, it was the worst kind of movie I think I could have ever watched. And this might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
There's no redeeming qualities of this. His John Turturro, who's a competent actor and has known for good, like he can be a really good actor. His accent was horrible. Like the line, like, "Come on, man, okay." Like,
I didn't know where he was supposed to be from.
I guess he was
Puerto
supposed
Rico.
to be
He's Puerto
Mexican
Rican,
or
yeah.
Puerto Rican
He's
or
Puerto
something,
Rican.
but
100%.
he like had like there was like Russian accent coming out sometimes.
They never spoke Spanish. Like
He would speak Spanish, but he'd be like, "Okay, ¿qué pasó?" And you're like, and like in the subtitles, it would just say inaudible
yeah.
1,000 times in this movie. Like, I'm like, why would you even have lines where
They couldn't even hire someone to translate it.
They don't know what they're saying. Like you could have probably had the screenplay and it would probably said nothing. Like
Yeah.
this,
Just
like I
random
don't know
words.
how a studio can look at this movie, see it, and say, yeah, green light, let's do it.
Well, the concept,
Well, look at everybody involved. Yeah,
they would greenlight like a spin-off of The Big Lebowski based off of this character that was mysterious and people loved him in that movie. Yeah, let's greenlight that movie even though it's 30 years later or whatever from that.
So
I get that, but like after watching it, like or where was the oversight in the direction of it?
like they're just like, okay, go ahead, and no one said a thing
Okay.
after.
I mean, they must have given him free reign.
I guess this was also loosely based on this French movie from like the 70s. That's what I read too, where it was very free love and all that stuff. Also,
so that could have been this. Was that this credit that I didn't read?
I don't know. And
based
I think
on stories and characters
and
by Bertrand Blier.
Maybe because I think that's why they chose the French actress as well, because like a nod to that.
Right.
But I don't know.
So yeah, I was watching this, and it is only 85 minutes, and literally I was like, okay, I have to be close, like to halfway at least. I
Yeah.
was 20 minutes in. I'm like, this movie is just.
I paused it
I
multiple
have an
times to see where
hour
I was. I'm like,
left
okay,
of this shit,
yeah. It was like, okay, how much more left? Okay, almost there.
and like
Made it.
Yesterday I was on the boat, had a great awesome day, and I have to come back home and watch this fucking movie, and it like was just horrible. Like the whole time I'm watching it, something would happen, and then there's nothing after it. There's no payoff. It's like they introduce this character, and I know it's like you said, it might have been anthology or whatever. They introduce this character. Next scene, nothing to do with the last scene at all. At all. It's just like a brand new scene, and then the next scene is something else, and it's just there was no like the bowling alley scene.
Well, it made it
And then it
confusing
was
at some parts.
Yeah, I
like
had no idea what
I
the
didn't-
fuck was going on.
The parts
I
that
had to
didn't
rewind
have,
it at one part because I'm like, did I
No, I
miss
didn't.
something?
Yeah, the parts that didn't have like bigger actors in it, and it was just following the 3
Mhm.
main characters. Like when they would go from place to place, I'd be like, wait, how did they?
Yeah.
Where was
Why?
the transition here? Like,
I thought I missed something.
like the passage, the time is weird. Also, just like in the beginning, especially the first half is so bad with. They're basically on the run from the cops at
we
one
don't know
point.
why they're on the run,
And then
though,
they're
because he
like-
got out of jail.
Well, because
Well,
they
yep.
stole the car.
They stole the
And then they
car,
from John
but then they're
Hamm.
not looking for them anymore. And then they get a bunch of different cars, and there's always different modes of transportation. I get that they're just stealing things along the way, but
It
trust
was
me, there's a
weird.
lot of confusing.
But
like,
they get the car
transitions.
back later.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah, and like
Very
somebody,
confusing.
and then they fucking JB Smoove cuts the
Tire.
axle.
Yeah, the axle.
Yeah.
But then like they get the car back, but no, like who buys a car and doesn't look at the frame, or like he said he sold it to a car salesman.
Yeah,
Obviously,
they
the
don't
car
see it has,
salesman's going
like,
to do
saw
inspections
marks
of the
in it.
car.
Yeah.
Because they would be liable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they sold it to the guy that's boating, and they just happen to like roll up upon him. And then there's that buggy that's in the middle of the field or whatever, and the guys
Yeah,
roll
that's
up.
what I was talking
Where
about.
the fuck did that come
whole,
from?
That whole scene from like beginning of before that to afterwards, I was like, what the heck am I
Like
watching?
I literally think
I
he
had
just
no idea.
they were
Yeah.
just writing a scene, and then we're just like
Yeah.
they're writing a screenplay. And let's
It's like,
put
I don't
this
know
scene
what else to
behind-
put with
and
this scene. They got a new car and
It
went
doesn't
somewhere
matter.
else.
They were like,
Yeah, it
we
felt
don't-
like improv, but it's a movie, so it's
we don't know
not.
what else to do in this scene, so let's just make a new scene.
Yeah.
That's this movie, and it was just I don't know how this became a thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like 29 people that gave this movie 4-star, and I would like
I
to
don't-
have
yeah.
a conversation with 29 idiots because there's no way this movie's even remotely near a
Yeah,
4-star movie.
I don't. And I'm like, again, it's so open. Like I can usually see.
Yeah, like
that,
even
but
The
I
Room.
don't.
The Room is a horrible movie,
But yeah, you
it's
can
funny
enjoy
and
it.
it's like-
yeah.
it's accepted that it's bad. This movie like wanted to be
It's
a
atrociously
funny,
Even
bad.
if I gave
good
this like
movie.
the full benefit of the doubt and like tried to really shine a light on everything good about it, it wouldn't go more than like 2 or 2.5. You know,
No, there's
that's what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah, that's max.
there's no
is
way
out.
that it's higher than that. And even the things, so like what you were saying about being the openness and stuff like that, those themes, how it seems like somebody that's wants to be open but isn't, and they're
Doesn't
trying
know.
to
It
portray
was almost
that.
like mocking it. I
So
feel
they
like.
they have
It was.
Audrey Tato, and she's like
Tattoo.
there. Yeah, so they end up treating her like, I get what they're going for, but it ends up coming off more of as like possession than what they want it to.
Like an object.
Yeah, an object. She's objectified, and then they try to put across this that they're not, which maybe is like a character trait that they're trying to show, but they're trying to say that they're not jealous of other people, of like, you know, sharing her or whatever. Oh yeah, we share everything, but then they get jealous, like when Pete Davidson comes in, you know.
Which that.
So I don't know if that was like going against what they were showing, or if they were actually trying to show that they do just actually care.
That whole scene like was so bad too, because so they met this lady who clearly had like mental problems or whatever, and then proceed to have a threesome with her,
Right.
and then she kills herself, and then they try to be like this dramatic part where like she had a kid who's also in prison, and then lie to him that they just had sex with his mom, and then she killed herself, and Then it's like their solution to fix this was to have him have sex with the girl that they have.
Right. Yeah.
I honestly
they own.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is fucked up.
I paid attention to this movie and I don't remember a suicide.
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon.
She kills
Spoiler.
herself.
It was
shoots
right.
herself.
Yeah, it was right
it
after
doesn't show
this.
it, but
she walks
hear a
alone, like
gunshot.
disgusted with herself, I guess, or just like that was her last. I don't know what it was trying to portray. Honestly.
Well, it was like she'd been in prison so long or whatever, and it kind of shows her as like this blank person, but then she has like a really great day, and I don't know, she wants to go out on a high note. That's what I got from it.
Then he's like, I have 300 women for you, and they go.
Well, they had the whole like
whatever.
Period scene talk with her too, and I'm just like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is this?
Like
is this supposed to be funny? Like, what is happening?
I don't know what was happening.
A lot of this comedy that was supposed to be funny was not, and all of the sex. There's a lot of like just sex or sex scenes in the movie, and that's fine if it works, but it feels it has to feel earned and not gratuitous, and it just feels gratuitous.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to be, look, we're so edgy with our humor, which can be good. I love that.
I love edgy humor.
Like
too.
I love dark, like anything like that. Like that is the kind of humor I like, and it was wrong. It was just felt like awkward.
Yeah. I guess because I actually didn't touch my phone or anything. Like I watched this movie, and I think the thoughts in my head like were just more entertaining than the movie itself. So I like must have like started daydreaming or something.
Yeah,
because I was staring at the screen the whole time, but I guess I've lost an entire scene, which doesn't really matter in this movie.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's
atrocious.
It's not good. It's a mess. The writing's bad. The story's bad.
The only thing I did like was the music, but like we were talking about
before. They play the same song over
I said
and
that
over
exact
and
same
over.
thing. I was like, I like the song, I like the music too, but it's
It
so
was
like
used
intrusive
terribly, yeah.
and repetitive that it's like it's not used well. Like the music can be good, but it's so intrusive and just it doesn't work.
It didn't work at all.
How they choose to use it.
It was like they played their Spotify playlist just during the movie. Like,
hey, I have a car.
Forgot to turn
I have
off
a car you
repeat.
can buy or whatever. Or he wants to get rid of that car, and he goes, "It's gonna be $12,000." He goes, "I got something better for you," and cut a haircut.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bad.
Horrible.
It was bad. Don't watch this movie. Don't waste your money. We did, so you don't have to.
I really know why I didn't even realize this was out until it's been out on VOD for a couple months, I think. And I didn't even realize. I was like,
March.
because it was last week we were talking about what we wanted to review. And I was like, oh, this is actually out. I didn't even know you could rent this. Now I know why nobody's talking about it.
And that's why it's like $3 or whatever.
I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it in the negative light.
Yeah.
Like,
just
don't
how
watch
bad
this
it
movie.
is. Especially in contrast to The Big Lebowski. Like, I don't think he was going for a super like Coen-esque feel. You know, I think
that's for sure.
This could have been more in his style, but even then, I still think John Turturro is better than this.
He is.
I don't know.
I
what
would
happened.
hope so.
As an actor, he's much better than this.
I know he's directed some other stuff. I'm trying to think of what.
I don't know anything that he's directed. I didn't even realize he directed.
I don't want to
anything.
watch anything he's directed now.
Nothing I've seen, so I can't speak on anything. But yeah, not good. You guys want to rate this thing?
Yeah, I gave it a half star.
Half star, 8 out of 100.
Which is actually technically lower than a half. Which
I
is
can't go any
terrible.
lower
You
than
can't
a
go
half.
I
lower
know.
than a half.
That's crazy though, because a half is 10. Well, I gave it a 1. I don't think it's as bad as there's some moments that are good, and like I said, on a technical aspect, everything is mediocre to average or maybe a little bit bad, but not a half star where everything is bad. It's not The Wrong Missy. It's not LaQuisha. It's not.
I think I would rather
those
watch
movies.
I would rather watch The Wrong Missy because that at least I laughed a couple times.
That was an easier watch because of how dumb it is. Like,
yeah.
Those kinds of movies, they move along easier for some reason than something like this where it's aspiring to be more and it isn't more.
Well, because that director might have been at least competent enough to have scenes that were cohesive. This movie had no scenes that were cohesive.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
Like, who's the editor of this movie that was like, this this is good.
Did they edit the movie? I think they just filmed it in a row.
Filmed it in scenes and just said, "Here."
Just turned off the camera, turned it back on, next scene, turned it off, turned it back on, next scene.
All right, well, let's move on to our next featured review, which is Swallow.
Swalala.
Okay, Swallow is written and directed by Carlo Mirabella-Davis. This stars Haley Bennett, Austin Stowell, Elizabeth Marvel, and David Rasky.
You can throw Dennis O'Hare in there.
Yeah, he's in it for like 3 minutes. But yeah, he's a bigger name, one of the bigger names. Plot synopsis reads, Hunter, a newly pregnant housewife, finds herself increasingly compelled to consume dangerous objects. Let's take a listen to a clip.
All right, you got to keep up on these things.
No, I'll email him.
Very important.
First thing Monday.
Okay, good.
I'll get it right now.
He's on safari.
Oh, well, if he's on safari.
No, I mean it. I mean it.
Okay, But
he's-
It's
you know,
not
he's
like
out
you
in
get internet.
the Sahara
on
somewhere.
the savannah.
It's fine. I don't care.
I don't think there's anything for it.
Sorry. This ice is totally awesome.
What did you guys think of Swallow?
I'm gonna start with general thoughts because
All right.
Go for it.
I just want to lay it out there because I'm floating between two scores. So
I was
want
too.
you guys
Yeah.
to like, because I've watched this movie and like I don't know quite how I felt about it, but like I feel like I could go either way.
I feel like
Okay.
it's definitely on the spectrum of more Kyle and I's type of.
No, it's definitely in your guys' wheelhouse more
Yeah.
than mine, but I still,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just want to hear like you guys explain the movie more.
Yeah.
So like my general thoughts are gonna be a little less than you guys.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I want to do that.
Do you
this
want to
way.
go into go into general thoughts?
Well,
now?
I just like I didn't really
Just your gut instinct,
Yeah.
you know, what is that?
I liked the way it was filmed. The acting was really good. The score was pretty good at times. I just didn't. I guess I think it was a somewhat of a little too much. Like they were being mean to be mean's sake. Like I
Yes.
felt like it was,
I wrote that in my notes.
I wrote that.
dude.
I also
God.
wrote that.
really.
I'm like, dude, the put downs in this. I'm like,
Like-
who would do like why?
and like it was just
It was kind of the same problem I had with Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Like
Yeah.
the only problem I had with that was just I'm like, okay,
It was
no,
dread.
it doesn't happen. This
Yeah.
is over.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
It just felt like everything was just so backhanded in this, and it was, I don't know, that was one of the biggest gripe I had with it is like, I didn't really have I guess I didn't feel a connection with.
I feel like that it is overall like when it comes down to me for this movie, that's a nitpick, and the only things I have really negative to say are kind of nitpicks.
Yeah, same.
Like you could attribute it to kind of writing and screenplay and dialogue because that's what all that comes back to. Like they could have gotten that same point across in a different way.
More subtly.
Yeah, subtly, exactly.
Yeah, I think that they use a lot of dialogue rather than like a lot of like. I think they could have done more like body
Show not
language.
tell.
See, that
Show
was
not
the
tell.
thing with me too, because they also did that, I thought, very well in parts.
Sometimes, but it
like
should have been the other way around.
under the bed part, I thought that was like great. I really liked that part.
There was some really, really good scenes. Yes.
yeah,
but
like that was how it should have
that's
been
why I'm
more.
floating. That's why I'm like
Yeah.
kind of still floating between. So, but yeah, generally I liked it. But like I said, just some of the things, my dislikes about it were more of, I guess, a bias, my personal bias, because there's just some things that it was just, I guess I wasn't entertained as much as I
Yeah, that's
thought
fair.
I would be, because I honestly going in I didn't know anything about it. Like I just knew it was Swallow. I didn't know that like it was all the dangerous objects or anything. I thought it was like pills,
Right.
like that she was taking like a pill.
Mm-hmm.
So so going in I didn't know anything
yeah,
about it.
yeah, that the pica. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So-
I didn't not like it. It was just
Yeah.
like I'm very much in the gray area right now of where I want to go with it.
Well, I did like it, and I was like also going between two scores, but ultimately I went with the higher one because as I like thought about it, I did like the movie quite a bit.
I think I need to watch it again.
Yeah, and this is one I feel like I could watch again. I don't know if my score would really change. I don't think it could go up much.
Yeah.
But could maybe drop. But so for me, I did like the cinematography quite a bit. There was a lot of good framing, and I loved
like the colors.
I loved because it added again to the story to me. So a lot of the shots felt like voyeur, like they were like you were looking through a window at them, or you were looking. There was stuff in between a lot of times, or it was from behind the back. A lot of shots were from behind the back, and it felt like you were more watching her or them.
Yeah,
from a different spot. You were like observing them.
Yeah,
and it was like uncomfortable. It created this weird like uncomfortable feeling to the movie, and I like that. I feel like that was intentional what they were going for with those shots because there was a lot of them. I really liked the colors in the movie.
I was just saying that.
A lot of pastels, especially in the beginning, where it was like the more darker like skies and stuff with these bright colors that were in it.
I like the nursery when she was putting up the red.
Yeah. With the like Italian flag type looking colors.
I thought it was like an American flag.
I think it would be French because this is a French director.
Was it blue and
it was
red?
red?
I thought it was
red,
green
white, and blue.
It was red, white, and blue.
I thought it was green. Well, then French flag. Definitely French flag then.
That's why I was like, I thought it was French.
Yeah.
Or they were just doing red, white,
but
and blue.
I did like that also. Let's see. I liked how they did the pica because, I mean, this is a real...
It's very much
syndrome that people actually do, and it does happen a lot of times with depression or stress, something like that, and something that you do get. She was pregnant, so that is also a very common thing, especially after pregnancy, postpartum. But not gonna go where that went. But
I feel like it's related to something else.
Yeah,
not that necessarily.
And the main actress, what's her name?
Haley Bennett
was so good. She did so many like little nuances to her acting. It was great. Like there was you could see
she has to put on like
she felt
these
very
fronts.
battered,
and you could just
she has to act one way and then that great scene of like fake it till you make it. It's like, are you faking it or
like
what do you mean? Like, are you happy or are you pretending?
Yeah,
I'm
right.
And,
and her performance is like perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect because she was so mysterious. I guess you always wanted, like, I don't know. All the time, I was a little confused with how to feel about her. Like, I felt bad, but at some parts, I felt maybe dark. Other parts, I felt like I don't know. It was great. I thought she was amazing actually as this character. And I also like the use of pica because for me, I felt like she was always in the background. So she was never like the way people treat her and stuff. She was always like lesser. She was always in the background. No one paid attention to her when she was telling her story. Like right in the beginning, he's like, go ahead, tell a story. She started telling them. They just like move away. But as soon as she starts eating the ice, then people pay attention to her. And then now that moves on to more things because it's getting her attention. She finally had control.
She's center stage.
When she never had that before. And I thought that was really well done as well. Oh, I love the tension. Yeah, that was like built in a lot of the scenes, especially with the pica. Like they're, especially in the beginning, they would go, you would see something, you're like, oh, is it going to happen? And they'd like build up, the music would slowly build. You're like, oh, she's going to do it. Like you're cringing for this. And then it's like, oh, it pushes away and then it comes back. And then
2 seconds later.
Yeah.
Boom.
And then, there's a lot of cool things that were done with the camera movements mixed with the sound, mixed with her acting that I really liked. And I guess I don't want to go into many more details into it, but I did enjoy this movie quite a bit.
Yeah,
I guess I can end it. I do. The problems with it I had near the end, I felt like the pacing was a little off, especially the end part. I felt like it was like it built up to this climax and then it was like, and resolution. I liked the resolution. I just felt like it was so rushed compared to the rest of the movie, which was like a slow burn.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I also like a lot of the cinematography, the colors, shots, the music was good. The acting was good. On top of Haley Bennett, there's her husband. And in the first 2/3, first half or whatever you think, like, part of me was thinking, so supportive, like, seems like a good guy or whatever. So, like, why are these things, I know what's going to happen, but, like, just she did a good job of portraying the good guy for a while. Like, there never was a break in character where it was like, oh, you think he's going to be the bad guy or whatever.
Yeah,
kind
you
of
could
assume that, but
you could like empathize with him, like, because
yeah,
she is doing. That's what I was saying, where how I felt about her kept switching, and that's why I thought she was so good, because at parts I was like, yeah, I can understand where he's coming from, like,
right.
I don't want to go into
Yeah.
spoilers, but
yeah, the acting was good. I think, like I said, most of the things is just nitpick. I think a little bit of it comes down to writing, dialogue, and stuff like that, and just kind of how some of the scenes play out, and then just a natural feeling of what I got out of it overall. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I guess that's just general.
It was Carlo's first movie.
That's impressive.
yeah,
For sure.
Because he had only
it showed a lot of
he did
talent.
a short, and then he did a documentary with two other directors.
Yeah.
So this
Well.
is his debut.
I'm excited for more movies then.
So yeah, just getting into details wise, we already mentioned some of the put downs and stuff. So she comes from a lesser background, right? She says she works retail her whole life, and she somehow met this guy who his dad owns this company. They're rich, all that stuff. So she comes from lesser, and they just kind of talk down to her or put her down, but it's so blatant and heavy-handed that it kind of comes off as bad.
Yeah, it comes off almost campy, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, where a lot of that stuff would have been done subtly, especially if, we don't know how long they've been together, how long they've been married, but there has to be some relationship with the parents, especially when the mom can be over to her house at the drop of a hat. So they live close. The dad and son work together. There has to be some relationship built up there. You wouldn't just
It
be
just
that
felt like they were meeting each
heavy-handed
other every time.
Yeah, you wouldn't just be that heavy-handed or be that mean all the time. It just felt weird.
Especially in contrast to how you were seeing the husband acting towards her. He clearly seemed to really like her, right? And he must have if he wants to marry her. And then his parents are like that, even though they must love him so much.
I really do believe before the pica happened that Heath had held her in such high regard.
Despite her background.
Because he says all the time, I love you. I love everything about you.
Yeah.
You can't do anything
unconditionally.
wrong. Yeah.
Which he still said later, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I really believed that. There's things that go wrong, with any marriage, which I don't know if it's trying to comment on the fact that, the first sign of trouble, he's, turns into a different guy, which every marriage faces trouble and turmoil. So,
but I could almost, understand that because, now it's his kid,
Yeah, that's at risk.
That changes a lot. It's why would he's freaking out? Because, she might hurt his kid.
Right.
Their kid, So I can see where he might freak out a little bit.
He was a little torn too.
Yeah, especially when she leaves
he's trying
later.
to make both parties happy.
And he yells at her and stuff "Don't you do that?" Because that's his kid.
Yeah.
And so it's changes things a little bit. So I could almost see.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But also look at what he says too.
Oh, what he says was too much.
Yeah, that's the part.
That's
where
what I'm saying. The subtlety, that,
yeah, the
it was not there.
I'll hunt you down.
It just turned.
I'll hunt you down and.
That part I'm just
I'll hunt you down, you ungrateful cunt.
And then that's what I was saying, where the ending part just felt badly paid. Compared to the rest of the movie, it was not very good because it was all of a sudden he just changed into that, and I'm like, oh. Now is it switching to a thriller? Is she going to be running from? And then no, it just never addresses that. It just now she's gone.
Yeah.
And I did like the ending. It showed her taking control. She became confident in herself. But I also didn't like really the interaction with her and her real dad, her biological dad. I didn't really enjoy that part too much because I felt like it.
I liked that.
Yeah,
I kind of did too.
I felt like it weakened the end for me though. It's like she needed validation from him to finally overcome and take control of herself. But like, if she was gonna do that, why'd she need that validation? I don't know.
How do you think that?
Because she's like
that was what she needed to overcome it. Like it kind of ends without really giving you any conclusion to her what she's going to. You could assume that.
Yeah, but I felt like she did something. Like she got the abortion. You know, she was starting that process. She was taking the medication, doing it, and that was her making a decision for herself based on what she wanted. Because even from the beginning, you could tell she didn't really want a kid. Like she made that pretty clear with her emotion stuff that she did not want a kid. He's like, he was so excited, and she was like, yay.
Yeah. You could tell.
So like she didn't want that. So like for me, that was her taking control, and then she walks out of the bathroom like confidently, like you can see it based on again the good acting she had. But I felt like that was almost weakened by her going and then just like say I'm not like you, you know, like you're not like me. Okay, now I can be confident because you told me I'm not.
I mean, she's obviously broken. So
yeah,
I think
but
therapy, like all the therapy sessions, kind of because like she goes into it with like a closed mind, and she says, "I had a normal childhood, or whatever." And there's all this stuff. Oh well, there's this one thing. My mom was raped, and
I'm gonna have to talk about the rape.
And she kind of brushes it off, which that kind of seemed. That again comes down to dialogue and writing. Like it seemed weird how she brought it up, or like how she like wouldn't think it's a big deal and brought it up anyway. But anyway, there's that. She talks about like she has a normal life or whatever, and she never faces these things. So I feel like the end was kind of just facing it, not like needing to get
validation
or whatever. But like she just had to. Like something you just have to do, and then once it's done,
it's a weight off your shoulders.
Like she didn't know why she started eating things either, but it probably stems from all of that, which is what the therapist says.
Yeah. Like I get it. Like I thought the scene was good.
There is a better. I know what you're saying. There is a better way.
Like I thought
to do everything and wrap up everything.
Yeah, like I thought that scene was good.
Yeah.
Like between the acting was great between them. Yeah, like it was a good scene. I just thought there was something that could have been done better. Maybe I don't know what that is, but just the pacing from the point when like she leaves and is on the run to the end all felt rushed compared to the rest of the movie to me.
The last like
which
20,
was very
30
slow and like methodical and everything.
I felt like
this is a movie I felt like they could have made it longer versus shorter.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was
I'm just
longer,
trying to think of like what would have been added from when she leaves to that point to what would have been added that would have fleshed it out more.
He just thinks it needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if it's only good things that are added, then I could see where this could be extended because it was a pretty short movie. But maybe things were in there that got cut because they thought, well, this isn't needed, and it slows it down.
Yeah.
You just never know.
I just feel like the resolution was a little bit fast.
The payoff
wasn't it didn't feel like I liked the ending. I liked all the scenes that led to the ending, but it just felt rushed compared to the rest of the movie to me. Like, I mean, it felt like it could have been, just extended a little bit. But clearly, for my score, I like this movie quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing. I'm just looking at some of the notes. Again, goes down to dialogue. The phone conversation with her mom, I believe, towards the end also. That felt like super unnatural. It was really weird.
That goes back to the whole like bad things. I'm like, what kind of mom would do? She has like whatever 6 kids or however many, and like, but our mom has 6 kids, you know, like, and she would be like, yeah, okay, you like, I'll sleep on the couch, you can have the bed, you know, like it just like,
and then like just the way that they're talking, like again, dialogue just feels unnatural. All of these are nitpicks. There's like a super so we talked about the score, which was pretty good. They bring in like a super upbeat song, like kind of when she's feeling. I get that she's like feeling confident or whatever, but it felt out of place.
you talking
when
about
she
the
starts,
end?
No, in the middle. Like when she
Oh.
starts eating things like just more
yeah.
often.
And you see them all on the table.
Yeah, and it's like an
tray or
upbeat
whatever.
song, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this just feels out of place, especially the score for the rest of the movie. Like, I get that she's feeling confident and in control and happy or whatever, but it felt weird.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, the party scene at their house
His
for his
birthday
birthday.
party?
Yeah. Like, they have this part where they get like into an argument or whatever, and it's not like super loud, you know, they're not like raising their voice a lot, but everybody just like stops what they're doing and looks at them, and then they just go back to what they were doing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of those parts that did feel so like campy, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't have been comparatively with the
'Cause it
tone
wasn't a
that was.
But it does
movie.
ride.
Yeah.
Well, it rides a line. So
Yeah, it's like
one thing I
between
didn't
both.
mention is
Yeah.
just the aesthetic and the production design. So they obviously were going for a 50s or 60s like type feel, like nuclear family. Like she's the perfect doting housewife. He's the husband that goes to work in a business suit. He comes home to she's in stilettos and a dress for dinner,
With
like
pearl
at
necklace.
home.
Yeah.
making like this beautiful.
Yeah, she
dinner.
starts cooking dinner at noon every day, and it takes her 4 hours, and then serves it to him as soon as he comes in the door. Like a very retro style, you know. So it's playing up on those things, and it's not supposed to come across like totally realistic. So it rides a line of campy style
It
and
sometimes
realism.
makes some mistakes with it,
Yeah,
but overall,
it's clearly
it
set
hit,
in present day, but it's going for this
very traditional
style.
household.
Yeah.
She irons his tie. Now,
Yeah.
You have
Wrong.
another
I like.
tie
Yeah,
you
he's
can
like,
go, not with this shirt.
not with this shirt.
Yeah. And he's like cringing, but he's like still like, okay, like I know you messed up.
Yeah,
you
it
can't
was.
iron silk. Gotta steam it.
But like, yeah. So and then it goes back to he does get mad, but like reasonably, you know, she messed up a nice tie.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't like do anything about it. He's like, it's fine. You know, you didn't know.
Yeah,
Lets
like
it go.
which happens in relationships.
Yeah, and then he
like,
just lets it
it's
go.
like, why did you?
But he
Okay,
was
it's
like,
fine.
You can see his vein popping out.
Yeah,
and
he's like, it's okay. It's fine.
Like if that would have been a moment where he probably should have done or said something to kind of build up to the ending. It would have made more sense.
It didn't.
The ending would have
It
made
did
more
not
sense.
build up to
Yeah.
that. It was just
There was
awesome.
The whole time you're just
now
like,
I'm
oh, yeah,
gonna
he's-
kill you.
he's a fine
There was
guy.
no, yeah.
That would have been a perfect scene to add in something small there that would have led to his ultimate, you know, how we perceive him as a character.
It was definitely heavy-handed.
Yeah.
It's like I see where he was going with it, but
Could
it
have
was too
scaled it
much.
down. Scaled
too
it down
fast.
Two
Yeah.
notches.
He could either turn down that dialogue or increased everything else leading up to that point. But either way,
It was just like,
or
but-
have
weird
him.
to
I mean,
fucking-
have him defend her more,
Yeah.
and the parents
exactly
be the bad
show
guys.
something. Yeah,
Because the parents were always kind of against her. Like,
Yeah.
have him defend her more. Choose one direction.
which like they kind of did in the beginning when he's like, "Yeah, tell a story. It's a good story.
Yeah.
Come on, tell it." And then she starts telling it, and the parent.
But
you
then
know,
he
right.
could have been like,
He's like, "No,
like,
wait, she's
hold
not
on, let
done
her
yet."
finish
Yeah,
the story,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll tell you.
But I feel like that would weaken the part where she started eating the ice, and then they stopped and looked at her, and that's like what started where her pica
She
to
goes,
take
"Whoa,
control because
This
people
ice is really good.
people will pay attention to her
Or this ice
when
is
she starts
amazing.
doing these destructive things, and she's finally getting paid attention to. But I mean, if it's his first like movie, still like those
No,
are
yeah, he
things he,
did-
could definitely fix later. Like he
Oh,
just,
No, I'm definitely
Yeah.
excited to see what he does next.
yeah,
for sure, we'll be into.
Yeah.
You guys want to? Anything else to say on Swallow?
No,
Are we ready to rate it?
yeah,
All right.
I gave it a 3.
gave it a 3.5.
I also gave it a 3.5.
I was debating on 2.5 and 3.
I was debating on 3 and 3.5.
I was 3 and 3.5 as
Yeah.
well, and I ultimately settled on a 3.
I originally did 3,
We all
but
bu- we
within
all
my
went up.
24 hours, I changed it to 3.5.
We all bumped up. You went to 3
That's
originally?
fine.
Yeah.
Oh, so we were about
Yeah,
the same
I bumped it
ballpark.
up before 24 hours went past because I had a stew on it a little bit.
Yeah, and I looked at my notes and I was like, you know, all of these are nitpicks. It's kind of just, in general, the feeling that you're left with it. You know, all. Of
I
these things.
definitely, I'd probably watch it again sooner than later. Because like I don't think I picked up
It's something
on
that I would
everything
watch.
could've.
Yeah, I wouldn't rewatch it. Like I wouldn't seek it out. There's so many other things that are on my watch list.
Yeah,
I
but
have
it
over
would be-
1,000 movies. But if this guy came out with a movie in a year from now, I would rewatch Swallow before watching
Definitely.
his next movie.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
You guys ready to get on to what else we have watched?
Yeah. We can
What
go.
do you want to start with?
Well, me and you, we all three watched a movie, I guess, because Jacob touched on it last week.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
then Kyle and I watched it together.
Yep,
Lost
we watched
Girls?
it.
Nope, VFW.
No, VFW. We watched
Oh,
it the day after,
yeah.
the day we recorded.
VFW.
So,
And
yeah.
I'll start on this one.
Okay, go
'cause
ahead.
You never rated it.
I did.
Oh, did you? No, you didn't.
Oh,
Not
it's
on Letterboxd.
I did it on IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it in. Don't worry for the 24
So,
hours. I got it in there. Don't worry.
So this movie was very much like Jacob said last week. If you guys didn't know, it's VFW is a grindhouse type movie. I will look up information real quick. Stephen Lang, a whole bunch of older actors are in it. Joe Bagos directed it, who hasn't really done much of anything other than like straight to Shudder, straight to Amazon type films. But it's got Stephen Lang, William Sadler, Fred Williamson, Martin Cove. That's pretty much, I mean, Norm is in it from Cheers for like 10 seconds. But that's pretty much the main actors. But it's a group of war veterans must defend their local VFW post and an innocent teen against a deranged drug dealer and his relentless army of punk mutants. So, the first half of this movie was very much grindhouse. Like, I really liked the first half, but then like the second half just fell off so much for me. Like they went away from the grindhouse. Like the violence got less, like blowing up dolls. Like you obviously could tell when they like a head blew up, it was like a prosthetic. Like it was.
I feel like that was on purpose.
That was no. First half was, and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
second half it went like more realistic. Like there wasn't those scenes of like blowing up people. It was like more traditional, and I wish it would have just stayed like super like over the top. And I felt like there was a good half hour where it wasn't as over the top as it could be, and there was like a lot of like down scenes and like just stupid stuff that like it is, but it would be nitpicking. But there was inconsistencies with that, and I wanted it to be, if it would have just stayed like balls to the wall like for an hour and a half, I would have loved it.
Or even less than that. Like,
or even like an hour 10. Like this movie could have been
easily
a 70-minute movie, and I would have loved it.
Because there are a lot of down scenes. Like they're holding it's a one location movie. They're holding the VFW post the whole time, but they constantly, they're like going outside for a minute. Okay, come back inside.
Yeah.
All right, now we got to do this. So we got to split up in different rooms for a few minutes and then come back together. It's like
yeah. And it was just like
they just would have made like one stand, like one.
Yeah, I wanted
fight
like
against
I wanted
him.
like them to set up the keg with the fucking spikes was awesome, like so cool. And then they're making out of tennis balls, they're making like grenades.
Yeah.
Like that was that whole part was like cool, and I wish they would have had like that whole fight scene would have been like the movie. Like it should have been one stand, but then they they backed off, and then they're like, okay, let's set up again. But like they're like 80, like 70s, 60s, 70s. Like he gets shot in the leg, he's gonna be like pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
realism, like you have to throw that out the window when it's grinding.
Yeah, there was no.
No, I know
realism
that.
at all. Yeah, I didn't take anything. Yeah,
that's fine.
Seriously,
no, that wasn't detracting from it. But I'm saying like I wanted it one stand, like he like has a the soda gun, like he sprays soda gun in someone's eye or something. Like that would have been like the type of stuff I wanted, not like a stand and then they stop and then another fight and then they stop. And then another. Like I didn't want it to be I wanted it to be like boom, 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 boom for seven, like the movie 70 minutes, 50 minutes is
like
the fight, and then
it kind of splits it between like a gritty
violent movie.
Well, like the gritty violence, and then like there's like the campy zombie movie in here.
Yeah,
because they
and
portray the drug addicts as zombies, which
I wanted that
is a good
more.
idea, but they don't really go anywhere with it, or they don't push it more than it could have been.
Right.
Like if you're gonna portray them as that, then like really lean into it.
I wanted them to just bodies piling up at the door.
Yeah.
Like when they built the barricade with bodies, that was like so grindhouse. Like I loved it, and then
it just felt weird that like five of the drug addicts would show up, and then like an army of them would, and then there'd be like one or two like randomly going in. It's like,
that's true.
Wait,
I
what's
can see
going
that.
on?
I can see
and I
all
get
of that.
like the total feeling like it's a dumb grindhouse movie or whatever, but like it didn't feel even on par with other grindhouse stuff that I've seen. It wasn't like the same. Like I recommended Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah, I haven't
you.
seen it yet. Yeah,
I love
it's
that
on the
movie. I
list.
think that's a much better grindhouse flick.
I'll have to watch it.
But yeah, stuff like that, you know, that I've seen that's I would put above this. But
yeah, I will.
I didn't hate watching it at all. I just feel like it was good for what it was going for, but not ever really elevated. So on a total overall, I thought it was like average, basically.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a great time watching it.
Yeah.
Even when I watched like almost half of it with you guys again.
and that's
I
the
know.
best half though.
That's what I'm saying though.
The
And
first half was great.
like,
William
I-
Sadler's character, I loved.
yeah, like I still was like, this is a very rewatchable movie, I guess. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And
just-
like I said, these are some with like the Jesus rolls. It's even though it's so short, you could never rewatch it.
no.
Even though The Wrong Missy is so bad, you could probably rewatch it and it would be fast. Like this is a movie where you could probably rewatch it and it just goes by.
Yeah, this is a
quickly.
movie you don't have to like pay attention to. You can
Yeah.
play it and sit down, watch parts of it. Like,
Yeah, if you miss 10 lines,
no big deal.
If you miss
Yeah,
5
it doesn't
minutes
matter.
of dialogue,
Doesn't matter.
There's nothing you're missing.
No.
And like people that grew up with the Grindhouse, like could really appreciate this.
Oh
movie.
yeah, this is a movie that could have come out in that time and just been like there, you know, like Rambo or something like that, you know, time. Like I definitely enjoyed it a lot. It was
I
super
loved the
fun.
first half, but the second half I didn't like.
I
at all.
loved like a lot of the colors in it, the reds and blues. Like loved that stuff, like the over the top colors. I loved the graininess of it, the faded look.
the whole
Loved the chemistry between the characters, like hilarious. It felt so natural between the old like veterans and stuff. It just felt like great.
the writing was like, and that even that part, like the writing and the banter between the people.
Yeah.
The first half was really good, but the second half I just fell off so
I
hard.
mean,
for me.
I also loved the scene where Stephen Lang did he was looking through the hole and he's like, you know what? Like I'm eager. You know, like the whatever he said that line there, I loved it.
talking to Boz or whatever.
Yeah. He was like looking through it. He's like, and if you want to, like, I loved it. It was
And
so like old school, like just stupid, just fun. Yeah. It wasn't trying to.
The Grindhouse feel. It has like the 80s action.
Yeah.
feel.
It wasn't trying to
Little
be
horror.
anything. And I really liked it for that. I feel like that's where my bias extra half point goes in, because this is like for me a 3 out of 5 movie, maybe. But just I had such a good time watching it. It gave me that extra bump up.
Yeah. See, I think like again, where just watching more movies comes in. Like if you describe it as a Grindhouse movie or whatever, and you've seen a bunch of other Grindhouse movies that are better, and you're like, oh, this isn't really as good as those other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
That's
haven't
why I
seen
need to watch
Because
more.
like even I'm taking it as even for what it's going for, I still think it's average even among those other ones.
Which is totally fair. So.
Well, I gave it a 2.5.
I gave it a 2.
3.5.
There we go.
But the 2, like, I was just so unimpressed with the second half of the movie that's what I think I could rewatch it and it would go up. But
Yeah.
just like I think
that's-
so like I loved the first part
Yeah.
so much, and the last part was just so like nothing comparative to the
Yeah.
first half, and I was
I
like,
feel like
it just hurt it so bad for me.
all of that's fair. Like all those scores, I can totally agree with.
Yeah.
It's just
No, I
this is
agree with
where,
your
like,
3.5 too.
yeah.
I could see where it could
Yeah.
be higher for me for sure. But
Yeah, this is one of those movies where you could be like,
I could
give it
rewatch
a 1.
again tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Probably.
Give it a 5. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like
I could watch it
Can't
again
argue.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like I could watch it again.
like you could
tomorrow.
argue for anything. Really.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
Who wants to start? Who wants to go next?
I'm
I mean,
good.
I can talk about Salo first if you want, but or I also you watched Lost Girls. I saw.
I did. You want me to go start with that?
I mean, we both did, but I don't know if Joshua wants to watch it too.
I don't
It's
really
a 2020
care to, but
release,
I might.
so
Okay, well,
and it's on Netflix.
I'll just give my brief.
Did I
thoughts
talk about
and
it
thoughts.
last
Yeah,
time?
you did.
I
you
did talk about it. Yeah.
You just touched on it.
Yeah. Well, what you were saying was that it kind of was boring and there wouldn't be much to talk about. And while I kind of agree, I also disagree. I thought it was pretty good, and it is elevated for a Netflix movie. So it's going for, I feel like it's going for a very Fincher-esque feel, just the way it's shot, the way it looks, and it feels that way. But it kind of feels like a TV episode at the same time, like a long-form
feels
TV
like
episode.
a Lifetime movie to me.
See, I didn't get that at all, because like the acting, like the writing and acting and stuff was fine, and you know, I didn't feel Lifetime movies are pretty bad, Jacob.
I know it was pretty bad.
I mean, look at
This
his
is
right.
not
Look at his
that bad. Like it felt like a good, more police procedural show, but like a better version of that. But instead of from the viewpoint of the cops, it's from the viewpoint of the victims or the families.
Yeah,
and it feels Fincher-esque to me.
I don't know.
Like it's not as good, obviously, but it's going for that feel, and it's the way it's shot, the way it looks, the sound.
Yeah, like most of that
score.
was fine. It's just like it was so boring. It was
I don't
like
think it was that boring either.
it kept like for me, it just kept trying to extend it. Like it's like okay, now this interview with this random person that I don't care about. It was like, oh, you're gonna be so excited for the end of this, and I wasn't. I was just like, when's the end of this movie?
So it's tricky. It's a true story, so it has to follow that.
Yeah, which would in the true story is way more interesting to me.
Yeah, the true story. Well, yeah, but I mean, they're adapting the true story. Like, what do you mean it's more interesting?
I feel like
this
they
is
made the
true
story more boring than what it was actually. I know it's like they followed it like almost exactly. I know like it's hard to like explain that, but the stuff they added into it, the little character interaction stuff, like just drew it out.
Well, I don't think this is a plot. I don't think this is a plot movie. I think this is supposed to show that the victim side and that when a hooker goes missing, they call like the police constantly just refer to as a prostitute or whatever.
Prostitute.
That's somebody's daughter.
Yeah.
Like you got to think about that.
Sister, daughter.
Right. That's somebody's family. No matter what you view them as, they came from somebody. They're related to other people, and you have to think about them. And so the incompetence on the police, and that actually, you know, that was a part of the story. All of these things that they're trying to kind of shed light on, like it's not amazing or anything, but it's more interesting than what you made it out to be.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, different strokes.
Right.
But I thought it was so boring. Like it was. How long was it? Was it 2 hours?
It's an hour and a half.
See, it felt like 3. I just felt like they could have done it in a better way. Like cut some things out, not introduce some characters, like put the characters with the better interactions together more. So, and I just felt like it was poorly done for a story that's already interesting. Like it should be easy to make this interesting because it's already interesting, and it wasn't.
Yeah, but again, it's a Netflix movie from a director that hasn't done that much work, you know. Like
that's fair. Maybe if I like looked into that and I add like caveats to it.
Yeah, I mean you shouldn't have to.
And I didn't, and I just like
I
maybe
think even on the surface, just for what it is, I still think it's better than what you portrayed it as. But like you said, different strokes.
Yeah, like I just don't think anything that was done. Like for me, everything was like done averagely. I don't think, except for the main actress, I don't think anyone else was like stood out at all. So like that puts it for me at an average rating, right in the middle. And then it was boring. So that's again what affects my like that half star for me. A lot of times will just be the entertainment, and I wasn't entertained. So boom, lost that, and that's where I landed. Now I do think this one maybe could go up. Like this is one that I could see it going up.
Do you want to?
But no, I don't want to. I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah, it would be hard to for sure. Well, anyway, I settled on it.
I read the Wikipedia story of the actual thing, and that would have been more interesting than watching this movie.
Well, I settled on a 3, and I think I would be between a 3 and a 3.5, but I went for a 3. So
that's fair. I mean, I can see it, but it just wasn't there for me.
I'll trust your guys' word for
all
it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you can go next.
Maybe I'll be the the middle man
Sure.
that
Yeah.
can.
Either
Yeah.
the middle or you'll choose
Like-
one.
Yeah,
Or I
yeah.
can
You'll
choose
be
one
like
side or the other.
you'll probably be right in the middle.
I'll be the deciding.
I think
factor.
this is something you would like more than dislike because it is Fincher-esque.
I
and,
love
like,
Fincher.
police
Yeah.
procedural shows. You
Yeah.
fucking love Criminal Minds, and that show's terrible.
Criminal Minds is dope.
So bad.
In
Crime,
CIS.
Mindhunters, which is Mindhunter,
Or,
Mindhunter
uh,
is good.
which is David Fincher.
Yeah, exactly.
Police procedural.
It's like SVU or one of those.
Yeah. The only thing I've been watching is Avatar.
Which I think, like,
Last Airbender.
I think like SVU and stuff is better than that movie was.
Yeah, I was just watching a TV Avatar again. Last
Avatar?
Airbender.
Oh my god!
Because I don't think I've ever
I-
actually watched it all.
I have.
I've never finished it.
I've seen every episode twice.
And they just re-released it on on
Netflix.
Netflix
Yeah.
because Nickelodeon and Netflix they are partners now or whatever.
Yeah,
But the show is so good.
so good. It's so good.
Emma is always like, "Why do you watch this?" I'm like,
I find that
It's
weird.
nostalgic for sure.
I feel like
it's a lot of
I don't know.
nostalgia too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that show is just good, well done. I mean,
I feel like
the
it is pretty good. It's hard to
animation's
compare
really
to-
well done.
It's hard to
The-
compare to anime. Like,
I
Well, it's-
wouldn't compare it to anime.
no, I wouldn't. But I'm saying, well,
It's an
they're
It's a
both
cartoon.
animated shows that are very shonen-esque.
Yeah, I don't know though. It
Avatar
feels
is
very
so-
different to
come
me.
on.
Yeah,
No, I don't. I think it's right up in
because it's not
anime's
like
alley.
the over
Yeah,
the.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
I
not-
think it is, but
It's not like the over the topness of like
anime is
anime
usually
as
based on
much.
like Japanese manga.
Well, anime has to come from Japan, and Avatar doesn't. So
Right.
it's not.
It's
It's
American,
not anime.
yeah.
I'm saying,
But it's drawn by a
comparatively, I would
Korean
rather
studio,
watch
so.
anime than Avatar.
I think this falls in the anime realm.
I would rather watch good ones. Sorry, I should say.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. Like Avatar is
I'm sure it's better
way
than,
up there
it's better
for
than
me.
a lot
Yeah.
of them.
It's a
but
really good.
Did you like Korra though?
I've never seen any. I haven't even finished Avatar, the regular show, so I
Well, I
definitely
mean,
haven't seen
you don't
Korra.
need to because they're very like. Separate.
Oh, I mean, it's only 3
When
seasons
Korra came out when
too.
we were older. I was like,
yeah, and
I had
Korra
already
is
given up
not
on
as
it
good,
at
but
that
the
point.
animation's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show has like a 9.1.
I feel
on
like
IMDb.
animation for Avatar is better than a lot of anime.
Yes.
But
I think the best thing about Avatar is like watching the actual karate or martial arts styles.
Yeah, it's
that
really
it emulates
good.
is
Yeah.
incredible.
yeah, like Tai Chi for waterbending.
Like
yeah.
you see the actual the guy that was like whatever he was there.
Oh, I mean the
Model
world
or whatever.
The world of Avatar is so good. I
Yeah.
love it. Like the universe, it could be like so much
And
stories could be
it does
told.
have a very much anime-esque because it has like the scenes where the big heads are like yelling at people.
yeah,
You know, and like
no, it's definitely inspired by it.
oh yeah,
but
I
it-
mean,
it
if
has-
this was made in Japan, it's an anime. You know,
Yeah.
it could be the exact same show made in Japan. It's an anime.
Yeah, probably. I still feel like it has a very Americanness to it. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I mean, they're obviously it's tailored,
yeah,
but because a lot of the things that Americans might look into animation, Japanese don't
Mhm.
care about as much, you know. But I still think it falls under the same
umbrella. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
But it's a really good show,
It is good.
and I love. It's like 20.
I'm
minute
gonna
episodes,
rewatch
so
it
you can
again.
just like binge a whole season, and
Yeah. I mean, that's how with any anime, which is
I
what I
know.
watch so much.
But
of.
this one isn't like a lot of recap either. Like it's pretty. It just
No,
keeps,
the pacing's good too. I mean, it's a good show. It's really good. Yeah.
and when he gets all like serious and he just fucks shit up. It's
Yeah.
so dope.
I love it. Like, yeah. It's one of my favorite cartoon. Probably maybe my favorite cartoon. Wouldn't say my favorite anime of
Well, yeah.
any animation, but probably my favorite cartoon.
It's really good. But yeah,
Jacob.
that's all I've been watching.
Now,
Busy
moving
week.
on from Avatar, we'll go into Salo.
Or
Perfect
the something
transition.
of Sodom.
So,
120 days.
I literally search. I'm like most like controversial movies ever made, like hardest to watch movies ever made. I'm like, I don't know. I was in the mood to watch something that's just hard to watch. Weird like that, I guess. Masochistic, and there was like a list I found of the top 25. Automatically went to the top 5. Looked at number 1, which was a Serbian film. I'm like, not ready for that. If you don't know about that, don't look it up. But This was the second one.
Is it called Serbian film? Or is it?
Serbian film.
Serbian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serbian film.
I think you were
is the
saying
name.
number one was a Serbian film. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, do you not know how to pronounce
It's about
it?
like a retired porn actor who is hired to do porn again, and it ends up delving into like necrophilia and pedophilia and stuff. And I'm like, don't know about that. So then Salo was the number 2. And it's Italian. It's a horror movie. I'm like, perfect. I need to see more Italian horror movies after Suspiria. So, and woof. So I did not put a score on this, if you saw, because I have no idea how to rate this movie for multiple reasons. I guess I'll dive into those first. One, it's like you can take this movie from 2 perspectives, and they're both valid to me. It can be either this grotesque, horrible thing that you watch, and it is that. It is grotesque and horrible, and you can take it as that and be like, why is this made? Like, film should be made for you to watch, get a feeling for, but ultimately you want to be compelled to watch something, right? Like, it's a movie. They're made for entertainment. They're made for art. And a lot of times I feel like those should blend together. Like, you should be entertained by the art you see. But also I can see where not all art is just made to be beautiful. I remember at the Van Gogh Museum, there was this that I saw this art by Van Gogh that is like universally hated. It's of this bar, and it uses like these contrasting red and like green and stuff, which is like Christmas. It's ugly. But it was intentional to be ugly because it wanted to give that feeling of like not fitting in, of disturbed, versus like his other paintings, which, you know, are very well known. A Starry Night, you know, everybody likes stars in the night sky.
Well, he did go through that crazy fucking phase.
Yeah. Well, he was bipolar.
Yeah.
Cut off his ear. He killed himself.
Yeah.
But like,
what a weirdo.
He was.
Good for him though.
So was this. So even the story behind this movie was interesting. So it was made by this Italian director during, it was post World War II, and it was the after effects of the Nazi controlled parts of Italy. This is what this was taking. He was writing a story about, and he based this story off a book that was written by a French guy who spent 30 years in prison and insane asylums. So, and the director was killed.
I was just looking that up.
Yeah. Killed after this movie. Like, quote, like,
same year.
Thought to be, assassinated because of this movie. Because of his, everything that happened. The main characters are like these older men who were like part of the Nazi controlled part of Italy. And he just shows how disgusting they can be. What they do is they take like these teens, I think it's like 9 girls and 9 boys basically. And then they choose these soldiers that are the watchers of these kids, and they choose them based on their dick size. Like,
perfect.
Yeah. Like, and then the kids they just choose, and they just steal them basically from the streets, take them to this mansion that's where no one will find them. And they even tell them this, like when they're on the front line, they're like, hey, we brought you here. No one knows you're here. No one cares you're here. We're going to do these things. If you mention God, we'll cut off your arm. If you have sex, if you're a man, you have sex with a girl, we'll cut off your arm. Like, we'll kill you. Like, we're going to do this punishment. And they torture them like psychologically, sexually, all this for 120 days. Like all of the like fringe of sexuality, like I forgot the name, but they make them eat poop, like bathe in it. They like force them into like sodomy, which is literally in the name, you know, and stuff like that. And it's just like twisted and disturbing and disgusting. And I can see that for what it is. For he was trying to make these people look as disgusting as possible because they were disgusting people. And this is the kind of power they had during war. Like, they could just do this. and just get away with it. And they do. Like, they do get away with it. That's how, there's no happy ending. Like, after torturing these kids for 120 days, they just slaughter them at the end and watch it for fun. And that's how it ends, like with them like dancing after they slaughtered these kids after torturing them for 120 days. And that's why I don't have a rating, because how do you rate a movie like that? You can, it was well acted. It looked real. It was disturbingly real. Like, there's parts you're like, did they actually do this? Like, what? I had to look up the actors in this movie just to see, like, how did they like end up? And one of the actors I read about, there's a scene where they're all face down and their butts are in the air, and the old men are choosing which butt they think is best, and they choose this one boy, and they hold him up and hold a gun to his head. They're like, all right, since you have the best, we're going to kill you now. And I guess during that scene, like, that actor had like a breakdown, and it took a while to film that scene, because when they held the gun to his head, he like freaked out. Like, and then they shoot it out and they don't kill him just to mess with him. They're like, you thought that was going to be how you go? That easy? Oh, it was hard to watch. But like, I get it from the perspective of what he was trying to show. He was literally killed for this movie. And that's powerful, right? Like, what he was trying to get across. But also, it was disturbing and disgusting. And I didn't want to watch it. I will never have any compulsion to ever want to watch this again. So it's like, did it succeed? Did it fail? I don't know.
It depends on what he...
Can I recommend this to anybody? No.
I wouldn't.
I would not.
Your gut.
Like,
You gotta follow the gut.
Then if I just go, like, I feel like I'm split. If I were to rate this on the pure value of as a movie from technical point of view, and based on what it was doing as art, this is 4 to 5 star movie.
Okay, there you go.
If I want to do it by how I felt watching this movie, like, and what it is as a movie versus like a film, you know, that distinction. 1, like 2, it was disgusting, disturbing, horrifying to watch. Like,
but that's what it was going for. So
which is what it was going for.
Grouped into the first part, the prior part of what you're saying.
Right. So
it's probably on the higher end.
It definitely. But also, I can see why people would absolutely hate this movie. But like, I can't recommend it. If you want, like, maybe Kyle, like, watch this, watch it. And I think you can like
Where'd
see.
You watch it at?
I had to find it online because you can't even like find it.
No, it's not.
It's banned, so like you can't even.
It might be on the Criterion channel because it has a Criterion release.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I had to, like, I wanted to buy, like, rent it, but you can't. It's on nowhere.
No, it's not. Just Watch even has Criterion and it's not on it.
Yeah, it's really hard to find. But also great thing about it, it's actually in Italian and French the whole time. They didn't do the weird things Suspiria did.
Yeah. Right.
So there's no English in it at all. And the subtitles were
I don't think this was ever made to play to us.
Yeah, it's
wide
clearly
release.
This is a very, like, subset of people. You cannot recommend this to general people. You cannot recommend this to even most people who like movies and stuff. But for people who want to take something on a purely artistic point of view of a film, this succeeded completely. But I never want to watch it again. Ever.
I don't blame you.
Ever. But I did, and watched it, paced well. The ending was a little weak, but it was just, everything was intentional and well done and disturbing. And if you want horror that actually gives you a feeling, because most horror doesn't really give me any feelings anymore. I'm so like desensitized to it. You can't be desensitized to this. This is literal horror.
Ugh.
Right, let's check it out. I rewatched Uncut Gems. Amazing. No, it definitely went up a little bit for me. Still not perfect, but
is it better than Good Time now?
No, Good Time's 5 out of 5.
Oh,
I really like Good Time.
Uncut Gems, but Good Time took me 4 or 5 times to watch it. I gotta watch Uncut Gems some more. But I did like it a lot more on this viewing, and just was able to settle in.
Well, yeah,
right
because
away.
knowing
what you're
in
getting
first
into.
viewing was like just fucking chaos the whole time.
And then you pick up on some cool things on the second watch, like within the first, I want to say 20 minutes or 30 minutes, they actually give you like a perfect ending. So if Howard was to stop his gambling and stop his addiction and everything, it would be a perfect ending. Like right when he hits, because he wins one of the first bets he makes that pays off, he would have enough to pay his debt. He could go on and be happy from there.
He can't do that.
But he doesn't. Exactly.
He can't.
So there is a perfect ending right from there, and then everything after that, it just starts to go downhill. And you don't notice that at first because you don't know what's going on. So, but then on the second watch, you pick up that, oh, he has a happy ending, and he chooses to not take it and to just keep going. So it just adds to his character that they set up in the movie.
Yeah.
And then there's also a cool line from Phil, the guy that ultimately ends up shooting him at the end. There's a cool line in the beginning where he says, I'm going to kill you, Howard. I'm going to bury you by the end of this. And he does. Pretty cool.
I mean, I definitely want to watch it again. It's been on my rewatch list.
So I watched it on, I think I was
It's on
using like
Netflix.
French Netflix, but it's coming to American Netflix
This week.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I didn't know that. I
Maybe
was
I'll
like,
just wait.
I know.
No, it's
exactly. I freaking used my VPN to watch it somewhere else, and I could have watched it. I
want to say it comes out like this Friday.
It's soon. It's very soon.
Well, then perfect time to rewatch it because I have been really wanting to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But Space Force comes out Friday.
I mean, that's a show.
I'm gonna binge it, baby.
Oh, they're gonna. It's
Netflix.
Oh, it's a Netflix show.
Yeah.
So it's all. It'll show all of it.
Do you have anything else, Jacob?
I think so, actually. Oh,
Just Kokobo.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
Kuroko's Basketball, the movie, last game. Don't really have much to say about that, though. It's great. If you watch Kuroko no Basket, like, and loved it, you're gonna love that movie. Watch it.
Is that it?
I mean, I did watch Extraordinary, but I think.
Oh, okay.
I
We'll
mean,
try to watch it.
Yeah, I would.
It's a 2020 release, so.
Yeah. I'm
you
gonna
guys-
watch it for sure.
Yeah, so you guys should watch that before,
All right.
and then I'll
Well,
talk
I have
about that
one
then.
thing that I'll just generally touch on because I don't know if you want to watch it, which is Blood Machines.
I do. You know
Okay.
what? I want to say that
It was
is
on your watch list.
That is so weird. So like I added
I saw
that.
him watch it, and then
I
you were
got
on your
an
watch list.
Instagram advertisement
yeah.
that showed like the trailer of this movie. I'm like, that looks beautiful. The colors and stuff. This is my movie. So I added it to my watch list. And then when as I was adding it to my watch list, I'm like, oh, Kyle's already seen this movie. Oh, and cool. And then I'm like, oh, he just watched this movie. I'm like, what are the chances of that?
Yeah, I just watched it like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
'Cause I was seeking it out, or I saw the same thing. I saw a bunch of targeted ads
Yeah.
for it, probably
I haven't
because
seen
of like
anything
Curse
about
Films
it.
or whatever. I've been using Shudder more, and I thought it was a full movie, and then I go on to Shudder, and it comes
It's
up as
50
like
minutes.
episodes, and I'm like, what the hell? I thought this was a movie. I want this to be a movie, and it definitely is a movie, but for some reason Shudder split it up into 3 episodes. It's so stupid, and they all have like 6 or 7 minute ending
Recaps?
credit scenes.
Oh.
No, not recaps, just end credits. And so I did the math. I was like, okay, did they do this? I'm wondering if they did this so their total runtime could be longer than 50 minutes or whatever. Like there's a technical runtime length that a movie needs to be considered a film by the American Film Institute, and that runtime is like 45 minutes. So without the credits or whatever, the total runtime is like 46 minutes. So they didn't even need the credits or anything. Like they could have cut it together as one 46-minute movie. Didn't make sense because it goes from end of episode to beginning of episode. It picks up right where it left off also. So it doesn't like make
So there's
any
no
sense to. Yeah, I didn't like that, but it's a total 100% visual. Like that's what you're there for. It's for the visuals. There's nothing else because the budget must have been so low. The acting is just atrocious, like pretty bad. And then it gets super trippy at the end, which I loved. But yeah, like what it was trying to say, I don't know. I don't know if it was like basically the premise is that the AI come into like existence, like come into like a physical existence. So the AI it's saying that they have like emotions basically.
So this was a Kickstarter movie.
Yeah, but it's not as like interesting as like Ex Machina, where there's like a Turing test or anything like that. It's just kind of saying it. It's just saying like these AI have emotions, right? And there's some people that treat them as such, and there's some people that don't, and that's just kind of the thing. Like this could be. It could have been, if it was well written and fleshed out, it could have been an interesting premise, but you're pretty much only there for the visuals. So,
which is fine because I love visuals, so I just want to watch that for that.
The Kickstarter had 117,000.
Yeah, so
pounds,
it's
or
very
euros.
very low budget.
So
and that was
pretty much the same.
And they spent all of that on the visuals.
Yeah.
Like some of them look really good, some of them don't. Well, like even though you can tell it's all super heavy VFX, it's like still looks fine. Like it doesn't look, nothing looks overtly like bad. But there's a couple like confusing parts, and I would need to rewatch it. You can watch it in, like I said, 45 minutes. It's not a huge time commitment at all. But it kind of felt like it's weird. It would need to be more fleshed out and better written to be a feature film. It would need to be a lot shorter to be a really, really good short film. But this in between is just like average for me.
It just came out.
Yeah.
May 21st.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got an ad for it.
I haven't even
This
seen
was
anything about
yesterday.
it.
I got the ad for it. Yeah.
The ship design totally ripped off from Alien, which you'll see. But
Or maybe it was
looks
an
good, though.
homage to Alien.
Yeah.
It was
Homage,
supposed to be like
whatever.
an 80s synthwave.
Yeah. Metropolis, one of the AIs look exactly like one of the robot from Metropolis. But yes, I mean, super obviously influenced. It's not, like I said, it didn't have the budget, probably didn't have the budget to hire somebody that could come up with that stuff on their own. So everything is super influenced in it. But
they're like, look at how beautiful it is, though.
yeah. And I don't know if there's some like, I don't know if they were going for any religious symbolism, but all of the AI have an
Crosses.
upside down cross.
Yeah.
It's upside down though. I don't know if they were saying anything with that. Like I said, we need to rewatch, and I'm still confused by some of it, but the visuals alone are definitely worth a watch. I ended up giving it like a 2.5. I would need to rewatch it, but
Yeah,
it was
I'm
fun.
just like,
The music is amazing. The score,
yeah, that's what got me too.
Amazing.
Like the ad was like, I'm like, wow, that sounds great and looks great.
Yeah.
This is in and added it right away.
yeah, it's 45 minutes, so no time commitment there.
I don't have Shutter though. But
I have it
No,
on
I
mine,
have
so
it. I
just
think I
sign
have
into
it too.
mine. It's on there. You can.
I think I pay for Shutter still too.
oh yeah,
There you go.
it's only a couple bucks, right?
It's like $4 a month.
If you do it as an add-on to Amazon, I think it's like $5 or $6 a month. It's really cheap.
Should just do that.
I love horror, so
Well, they have great stuff
they have a
besides
lot
horror.
of other horror. But
Well, I've been like starved for like that kind of
Dogtooth.
visual.
I still haven't seen Dogtooth, Yorgos's first movie. They have Mandy's on there.
Mandy,
really?
yeah.
Just lots of good stuff.
I've just been starved since Neon Demon for like
yeah.
that kind of like
That's a lot of stuff like that would be on there.
yeah, I want that kind of visual splendor.
Anything else for you guys?
Nope, that was it.
Wraps up for me as well. All right, what are we reviewing next week?
So I just looked up a movie, and I think that we should add it. It's Premature. It just got released on the Hulu. It's a 2020 release. It's got pretty good reception so far.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's something that we can watch. It's, whoops.
By
And then there was,
Rashad Ernesto
Mhm.
Green.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. As usual, we'll keep it open and then make a post on
Mean-
what we're reviewing officially.
Extraordinary.
Yep. Extraordinary.
That might be
We'll be
on
up there. Yeah, we'll have to see if there's anything big. I don't think there's gonna be anything big for another couple weeks.
There's the Lovebirds that just came out.
Oh, Lovebirds is on Netflix, so I would say that should be at least one of the featured.
I rewatched Extraordinary, so
Yeah. So there we go. Camille Nanjiani. I just thought of it.
there you go.
It's why it's
it took like 2 hours
I
and
know.
Kyle got it.
But it's weird. Like when you're trying to think of it, you can't think of it, and then like you just said Lovebirds. I saw his face. And I was like, Camille Nanjiani.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. All right, for sure. Lovebirds. We'll have some other stuff that we've watched for sure. Send in questions and comments to sudsandcinemapodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, Suds and Cinema Podcast. You can follow myself on Letterboxd and Untapped at the KG Project.
And you can follow me on those things as well. I'm JSal517, JS, as in Sam, AL 517. Those are the numbers, not spelled out.
I'm on Untapped and Letterboxd at Josh_Saldana.
All right. Cheers, guys.
I drank a Busch Light the other day and felt it buzzed when I didn't have any food in my system.
See?
And I haven't eaten either, but I ain't about to feel one beer. I ain't no bitch.